Charles Christopher Parker, also known as Yardbird, was born August 29th, 1920 in Kansas City, Kansas. He died March 12th, 1955 in New York. He had 4 wives and he had 5 children. The origins of his nicknames come from 2 places. The first one is that he lived free as a bird, and the second one is that when he was touring with Jay McShawn, they accidentally ran over a chicken or a yard bird, and Parker asked him to pull over so that his landlady could kill it and they could eat it. So in 1931, he learns how to play the saxophone at the age of 11. And then in 1938, he joins John's Big Band with pianist Jay McShawn in his hometown of Kansas City. And then in 1939, he moves to New York City, where he takes part in the jam sessions and is influenced by the New York sound. He later moves back to Kansas City and rejoins McShawn, who puts him in charge of the reed section. Parker's music is first recorded during this time. In 1942, while on tour in New York, Parker catches the attention of jazz greats like Dizzy Gillespie and Monk. He breaks with McShawn and stays in New York. Here, he becomes one of the key players in the up-and-coming revolution in jazz, which is bebop. In 1945, he records air-defining songs like with Gillespie, including Salt Peanuts and Shaw Nuff. The two do nightclub tours in Los Angeles. 1947 he begins recording his defining albums such as All Night in Tulsa and Yardbird Suite. In 1949, he makes a successful tour in Europe, a popular nightclub in New York named Yardbird in honor of Parker. So, not a lot of people know this, but Parker also had an addiction to heroin.
Parker's addiction to heroin, which began in his late teens, caused him to miss gigs and be fired for being intoxicated. To satisfy his habit, he frequently resorted to busking on the streets for drug money, receiving loans from fellow musicians, admirers, pawning his own horn, and borrowing other sax players' instruments as a result. Parker's situation was typical of a strong connection between drug abuse and jazz at the time.
Although he produced many brilliant recordings during this time, Parker's behavior became increasingly erratic due to his habit. So unfortunately for Parker, when he moved to California, that drug was a little less abundant, so he had to move on to drinking, and drinking heavily to sustain his habit. Parker has this one crazy story that most people know of, but y'all probably don't know it. But after he was recording this song called Lover Man, Parker was drinking in his hotel room. He entered the lobby stark naked on several occasions and asked to use the phone, but was refused by each attempt. The hotel manager eventually locked him in his room. At some point during the night, he set fire to his mattress with a cigarette, then ran through the hotel lobby wearing only his socks. He was arrested and committed to the mental hospital, where he remained there for 6 months. Parker's won 1 Grammy and has been inducted into the Hall of Fame 5 times. That's the end of my video. I'd like to give a special thanks to Wikipedia for allowing me to read their facts off their website. And I'd also like to thank Parker's own website and blog for presenting the facts so nicely for me to read. I'd also like to thank Matt, who read the screen when I didn't want to read the screen any longer. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of my video. Give me an A. Actually, you don't have to give me an A, but I feel like it is A-worthy. But a B, totally fine. Totally fine with a B.